the left hand side, an example. Also on the right hand side we have questions from 1 to 4, and the task is: do the following statements agree with information to the reading passage? True, false, not given. First of all, we have to read questions and highlight words which we have to find in the text. So first question, so we are reading the question. Equatorial birds cross from one hemisphere to the other when they migrate. So I'm just trying to find, first of all, just highlight the word which we have to find here about these equatorial birds. We have to find information about them, and we just scanning the text. Land birds, it says about land birds, but it doesn't relate to our question. So transequatorial. Here we find something about transequatorial. Just highlight this, and let's read the sentence. Although most bird migration takes place between the lower and higher latitudes of the northern hemisphere, many species are transequatorial, living in the north hemisphere during the breeding season, in the south hemisphere during the remainder of the year. It says about transequatorial, and it says that in the northern hemisphere they just live there during the breeding season, and in the south hemisphere they live during remaining time of the year. So it means that this is the answer to our question, because it says that they live in the south and the north hemisphere, and it means that they cross from one hemisphere to another. In the north they just for breeding, in the south they live for rest of their lives. So the answer to the first question will be true. The second question: many migrate in the hemisphere. So this is about breeding of the birds, of many of them. So since the answer to our first question was in this paragraph, it means that answer to the second question will be below, because usually in Ielts exam we have order of the questions, also we have order of the answers of that questions in the text. So it means that here we have to find some information about the breeding, and here says about about breeding of the birds, but it says that not all birds migrate for long distance. Some species exhibit estuarial migration. The breeding areas are in high elevations near or at the depth of mountains, and they spend the non-breeding season in neighboring valleys or other nearby low country. So it doesn't say that all birds go for breeding in the southern hemisphere. It doesn't say this. It says that some of them migrate, some does not. So it means that answer to this question will be false, because it's not true, because not all of them go to southern hemisphere. They were talking about transequatorial birds, but even they don't go to the southern hemisphere. That's why this answer to this question will be false. Also, when you reply to the questions, you have to be careful, because sometimes the answer could be yes, no, or not given. Sometimes it's true, false, not given. And in case you put yes instead of true, you can just, it's -1 score, and better to be careful with that. The third question is, migrating birds spend the warm months where conditions for breeding are optimal. Spend where conditions, warm months. So let's highlight the third question, that migrating birds, they spend the warm months where conditions for breeding are optimal. Let's talk again about breeding, and about breeding conditions and where they spend that warm months. So we know that answer to the second question is here. We go below that answer and just scanning here something about breeding. So found something here about breeding areas in higher elevation near or at the peaks of mountains, and they spend the non-breeding season in neighboring valleys or other nearby low country. Yeah, they say that they spend their breeding season in the near of peaks of mountains. The appropriate place for their breeding, and this is considered as breeding areas for them. It means that the answer to the third question would be true. So we go to the fourth question. It says many birds fall in their migration because they do not have enough body fat to fuel the journey. It's about the falling of the birds, and it's basically we have to highlight this one, and we have to define why they fall, and define it's given here, not given, or in case it's given, it's true or false. Answer to the third question was in this paragraph. It means that we have to go below this and just scanning, trying to find some information about the fail and about the journey. As we see here, this paragraph starts about the migration and how they fly, how many hours they fly, and it means the answer to our question is somewhere here in this paragraph. So we just scan, and here we can find something about falling of them, and here by the end of the paragraph we can find about the fat necessity for the fuel to overcome the journey, and that's all. Further is the last paragraph, which doesn't contain anything about that. So it means that here the last sentence is close to our question, but it doesn't say exactly that they many of them fall because of the fat. That they just say at the start of this trip, about 55% of its body weight is made up of the fat necessary to fuel this amazing journey, but it doesn't say anything about fall, and it means that answer to this fourth question is not given here in this text.